Gigi Alcock, it's our monthly get-together.
Hi, Alec. Yeah, it is.
And I must tell you, before we even start, you're very famous amongst the BizNews tribe. As we know, you've been at the conference and so on. But one question that keeps getting asked of me is, so if Gigi grew up in Masinga in a mud hut with no electricity, how did he raise his own kids?
I raised them with, well, first of all, my eldest daughter's named Konsi, which means kind of snowdrop, and learned to speak Zulu. And Zandi, my youngest daughter, only has a Zulu name, Zandi. And I was very proud of the fact that, first of all, she got her Protea colors in show jumping. And having the initial ZA, obviously she had to eventually represent her country. But I was actually prouder of the fact that in a multiracial school for matric, she got the highest marks for combined English and Zulu. And she's very proud of her Zulu speaking and her culture and so on. So they've been brought up very much like that, despite the fact that we live in Kyalami and Johannesburg.
And when they visit Koko?
They love it. They love visiting Koko, and they come with me to the township, so they're kind of familiar with what a kota is, and so since they're really young, they'd come with me to the township. So
I think maybe we should bring them in here to start teaching other kids in South Africa, especially those in the BizNews community, how a multicultural future looks.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's very interesting that, for instance, Zandi, when they had to choose which subjects to take, she was the only white child who was taking Zulu, and she mobilized all the other kids and told them it was unacceptable, and ended up converting about 6 other kids to take Zulu instead of Afrikaans. She felt that strongly about it, and I think it's an important thing, to bring them up with that awareness of their place and kind of the country.
So they're quite happy to go and visit your mom in Masinga.
Go and wash in the Tugela River, and yeah.
That's marvelous. But we aren't here to talk about that. You've actually brought a guest in, an entrepreneur, a young entrepreneur.
Yeah, quite extraordinary. Belisa has a hair salon. I think maybe some background, the hair salon sector, or people call them saloons, not salons, is a 10 billion rand sector across about 60,000 outlets in South Africa.
No, stop there. 10 billion.
10 billion, and that's in styling
60,000 outlets.
60,000 outlets is another 40,000 home stylists, barbers, and street barbers, and so on. But just the hair salons, like a physical structure, there's a 60,000, 10 billion. The 10 billion is only in styling, because generally most people buy their own hair extensions or relax and bring it with them to the salon. So remarkable. And I mean, just a fun fact that the most stolen product in South Africa's ports is hair extensions.
The most stolen product. Belisa, I hope you aren't using stolen products from the criminals.
No, I'm not using stolen products.
Just tell us a bit about your story. Why did you go into business on your own?
I was very young when I started doing hair. So I saw that this is what I love, and I'd like to do more about it.
You started when you were 13?
Yes, I was 13 years old when I started plaiting. I was still at school.
Was that for pocket money? Did you charge people?
Yes, but I didn't charge much. All I did was just for having something, but not charging, because I was still learning at 13. But I did plait hair.
And you now own a saloon with how many people working for you?
I have 8 staff workers. Yes.
8 staff.
Yes.
When did you start your saloon?
Where?
When?
When I started it at 2018.
And you now? How old
are you now?
I'm 20.
So
I
you
was
were
16.
You were 16 and you started your own business.
Yes.
Wow, that's unusual. Or is it? Is it unusual?
Well, I think it is unusual to be so successful. I mean, there's a lot of people who do home styling and stuff like Belisa would have done when she was young. But to start your own business, a physical structure, she got a beautiful structure and a salon very fancy mirrors. You've even got a delivery service that you can do delivery of parcels and acceptance of parcels there. To have that is quite unusual. Certainly at 20, to be employing 8 staff in essence an informal business is quite amazing.
How busy are you?
I'm very busy. Monthly I do maybe 120 to 150 people monthly. Yes. And it depends on a month. So there's weeks that I'm not too busy. Month end, I become busy. Yes, too busy.
Do people have to book then? Or do they just come for and wait?
I do have people who book, and I do have walk-ins. Yes.
Okay. So the same as one would see perhaps in a northern suburbs of Johannesburg salon. People, regular customers, but I'm sure your pricing is different.
Yes, it's different. It's different because I started, I wasn't too expensive at first, and then I had to outgrow the salon. So after that, the salon is so beautiful. So after that, I counted my expenses, and then I started increasing prices from there.
You call it a salon. He called it a saloon.
Yes, a
Kasi, it's a saloon.
Yes.
And how many, what is your product line that moves the most? Because I think you were talking, when you started off, you said hair extensions are pretty big.
Yes, hair extensions.
So what are all the things you offer at the salon?
All the things.
Yeah. Do you do lashes and stuff?
I do makeup, I do hair,
Yeah.
I do nails. But because of time, I need to hire people to work on that because I can't,
Okay.
like, when I'm alone. Yes.
Sure. And what else? You do relaxing?
No, I don't wash. I don't
Okay.
relax. I only...
So it's extensions.
Yes.
Okay.
And you said earlier, there's 60,000 of these salons in the informal sector, in the Kasinomics.
Yeah.
So are most of them owned by people like Belisa, who has the one outlet, or are there fleets?
Now, generally people, the interesting thing about it is, Belisa is quite different since she's got staff who work for many of the salons. The salon owner actually rents out each individual styling station. It's like almost an Airbnb model where you can rent out a station. But generally you would have individual outlets, often connected to a house. So in the front of the house or a back room built at the back of a property. And that would be generally how it operates, yeah.
I remember in COVID, there were some restrictions. Did it affect you?
It did affect me so much. It did. Yeah, it did.
What exactly was the impact on your business?
There was no business. I didn't work. There was no work. And if I could, maybe someone wants to do their hair and come to me, and then I had to place them I had to take them to the house and do the hair in the house, but the salon was closed.
So that was a challenge. And then load shedding, does that affect you?
Not really. Load shedding, not really, because I bought some lights, big lights. I use them.
And what are the lights connected
I don't use
to?
electricity.
Batteries. Okay.
Yes.
Like these lights, although these are connected, our lights in the studio are connected to
Yes,
electricity, but you have battery lights.
Yes.
So I suppose make a plan. You have to.
I have to.
And maybe you can tell Alec how you started and how you got into the business.
All right. Okay. I started at a very cozy shack in a very small place. And then my expenses escalated, and then my mom also helped me on my career because she saw me that, no, this is what she loves. So I had to do it for me to live, because I love what I'm doing. I love it. Yes.
And she gave you some funds to get a bigger place?
Yes. She also helped me a lot.
Okay.
Yes.
And is that where you are now?
Yes.
Okay.
I have everything in the salon, but I still need more.
You want to grow it?
Yes. And I still need to hire young girls for them to have something that they're doing. Yes.
Is it driven a lot by fashion, your business? Where, in other words, if there is a new hairstyle that people want that hairstyle, or is it just maybe creativity, your own creativity?
It's my own creativity. I'm very creative, and I can teach some girls to be creative as I am.
So Belisa also wants to, and already does, teaching young girls so that they can actually create their own jobs and do the same as she's doing in essence.
And maybe have their own places in your salon?
Yes.
But also would
I'd like to have other branches so that they work. After I teach them, they find a job here. Yes.
She wants a chain of salons.
Yeah, I was thinking, you started at 16, you've already got 8 people working for you, and you're only 20.
Yeah.
What about when you double your current age? How many salons would you have when you're 40? Do you dream?
Yes, I do. Maybe 20.
20 salons. Is that what you want to do?
Yeah.
And have you started looking for other places?
I have started, but because of time, I stopped. Because of time, I couldn't go further about it. But I wish I could get another places. And
yeah,
yes.
Belisa, what makes you different? And I ask this because there are many people in society who want to get a job rather than make their own jobs, who want to find a boss rather than being their own boss. What is it about you that your upbringing, or maybe your mom, that made you different?
My mom grew up in a very set way that she couldn't even eat or get something because of not having job or someone who works from home. So I didn't like her backstories. So yeah, because I have something to do. Yes, I decided that no, I can't just sit while I have something I can do. Let me try something as I grew up in it.
But I know that there are many attractive young women who take a different route, a really dark route, and rather than going, perhaps trying. And you've brought in a few very interesting people into this conversation who have become entrepreneurs. And I'm trying to get where the difference might be. Maybe you can help on that one, Gigi.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, well, I can't really, I mean, I don't know if there's a common thread, but I do think that one of them is, interestingly, every one of the people spoke about their mother being the motivating factor. And also all of them spoke about starting young. Mbali went door to door when she was still at school selling magwinya or vetkoek, and Belisa started while she was at school and contributing to the household income. But I think one of them that probably is also just a realization, I'm not going to get a job, I come from a family that doesn't, or I've got a job but it's not a great job. It's kind of ambition to just be better, to be more, not to be left behind, so like Belisa talking about her mother's situation and her realizing she has to work to get, not to have the same in her own life. I think there's a lot of that, but a lot of it must also just be internal motivation, I think.
But it is interesting, when we got democracy in South Africa, there was a lot of hope about everybody having a job and being a better country, and unfortunately that didn't work out. And maybe the younger generation, people your age who were born frees, are thinking differently.
Yes, that's true.
Would you say more young people are now thinking of doing their own thing instead of getting a job?
No. Some people are lazy. Yes, they're lazy. So I don't know. It should come from the heart, and yes, it should come from the heart.
But also what I like about your story is you found what you love.
Yes.
And there's a wonderful old man in Omaha called Warren Buffett who says that if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. I'm sure, Gigi, you feel that way. I feel that way. And from what you've told us, you do too. So maybe sometimes it's just find what you love. And these young girls that you're teaching, how do you know that they love being hairstylists?
How do you choose them?
No, some girls come to me, especially, and ask me to help or hire them, yes, to work with me. And then if they start working, I see that no, this is not what I want from my salon. I want every client to live very happy when they leave. I want their looks to be glamorous. So I see that no, this is not the look that I want. And then I teach them further. I'm very creative to the extent that I can teach, and you can be also creative from my teachings. Yes.
And you obviously teach girls who are hardworking and want to do the same as you're doing.
Yes.
And how do you know that they are hardworking? Because everybody can interview well. Are they from the community? Are they people you've known?
They're from community. I know because they're always there. Yes.
So they always come to you and they ask many times and eventually. So you don't just, the first time they ask you, you don't.
No.
Okay. Okay.
I had a couple of guys who worked for me who came to me and said, I'll work for free. I just want to do this.
Yes.
I want to do the work that we do. Do you find that too?
It's because some people want to learn. It's learning. It's part of learning. Maybe you don't know, tomorrow you'll be having your own salon. From coming to me and wanting to help me, it's you gaining something. So I think it's because they want to learn, but not getting paid from me, but they're learning. Yes.
It sounds like you're a bit of a role model as well.
Yes, I am.
And that's the key thing, isn't it? If we don't have a state that is going to look after all of us. I remember Clem Santa wrote a book many years ago called Pretoria Will Provide and Other Myths. Because Pretoria can't provide. It's not possible in a modern economy. That if you go and do an apprenticeship or work at a salon and build your expertise, maybe you could work for yourself.
Yeah. Look, I mean, as you know, Alec, I mean, my big drive has been about this. You know, when we start celebrating and using people like Belisa, Nambali, and Refilwe and others as role models to say, actually, there are these people and these are the role models of what real entrepreneurs are about. It's not necessarily Elon Musk. Within particularly informal spaces or township spaces, you start creating this mindset which says, I don't need a pay slip, I don't need a job. And I think we just don't celebrate these kind of people enough, which then creates a role model for more people to say, hey, actually, I mustn't just go and look for a job or enter an unemployment queue. There's other opportunities. And it's not only in the informal sector. We need that broadly, but we need it particularly within that kind of township space.
Are you making any headway?
I believe so, yeah. I mean, I mean, the more they are exposed into the space, the more... I mean, I was interviewed on ETV, a show with Annika Larsen this week, and you have no idea how many hundreds of emails or WhatsApps I've received, how people found all my details. But how many people have contacted me and said, listen, it's true what you're saying. And you know what, I've been thinking of doing this, but I haven't actually got off and done it. And now I want to do it. Can you give me any advice? And, you know, I think that just that, I mean, so certainly within the corporate world as well, there's a kind of different look in terms of what are the businesses out there and how people could work with them and so on. I mean, we've had remarkable responses to Dabi Singh's interview with people saying, you know, how could they get involved with her? So it's small efforts, but I do think, and for me, the big effort is how that can be done to youth in townships on a much bigger scale, so that we actually get these stories out. People need role models. They don't need to be told these things. They need role models, because they seem to think, well, Elon Musk, you know, I'll never get there. But when they look at a Belisa, they say, hey, maybe it's possible. She's like the girl next door, but look how she's done. And I just really think that that's what we need on a larger scale. And also government to recognize that these are businesses. These are real businesses, and how they should be supporting them. You know, for me, that's really where or municipalities as well, and so on. So instead of harassing them, how do you enable, empower them, scale them up, and so on?
Well, we always talk about unemployment, and 8 people are not unemployed because of Belisa's work. But quite often, would-be entrepreneurs don't go ahead because they say, I haven't got the money.
Yeah.
Now, that's an interesting point. When you started, who funded you?
No one. I didn't get any funds. The only money I got is from my mom. Yes.
And how much did you need to get going?
And 15,000.
So it is quite a slug. It's quite a lot. But your mom helped you to get going. Mm-hmm.
And I was also working, so I was saving the money that I was working. Yes.
Where were you working?
My salon.
Ah, okay. So your money you were making in your little, you said, the cozy shack.
Yes, in a cozy shack.
Was it Mkuku?
Yes.
So you were going
a small mkuku.
A small little corrugated iron shack. So you were working, saving some money, and then your mother helped you as well.
Yes.
So when's the next salon coming?
When?
When are you going to open number 2?
I'd like to open it very soon. It can be next year because the year is already ended and I'm so busy. It's a festive month, so yes, I'll be too busy. So I won't be having time on getting a place, but I need help. Yes, if some people are willing to help me, I'd like that and I'd appreciate it.
And just so that we got a sense, to do the work like on your own hair, which is beautiful, how long does it take and what do you charge?
How much do I charge?
Let's say that a lady came to you and she said, I love the way you look, I'd like to have my hair just like yours.
350. Yes.
That's excluding the extensions.
It includes.
Includes,
yes,
okay.
They get everything from me. I don't use clients' extensions, I use mine. I stock in bulk. I always have them at 7. Yes.
Amazing. Okay. So you charge 350 Rand.
Yes. This hairstyle. Yes.
I don't know if it was you who was telling me, but someone told me about a business that this guy's got who has contacts in the subcontinent, in India. And they go around into India and buy hair from people and then package it together and export it to South Africa.
It wasn't me, but it is a huge business. I mean, Brazilian and it's called Brazilians or Paraguayan hair, which is purchased. Some of it, of course, I was told that a lot of what they call, so there's called artificial hair, and there's a factory, for instance, in Mozambique that produces the artificial filament kind of hair. And then also the organic hair, as they call it, is either human hair or horsetails.
Horsetails?
That's what I'm told.
Would you use horsetails?
No.
But and where do you get your hair from?
There's a shop that I stock my hair at. It's Lens, at Lens.
In Lenasia.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And
The
where,
wholesaler.
and would that come from Pakistan and India and Sri Lanka, perhaps? Maybe through this guy who, and the numbers that I heard were massive. They're really big. But when you talk about a 10 billion rand industry here, it's not surprising.
Hair imports into South Africa have grown by 64% over the last 4 years.
In 4 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
And this in a country where we have all of these dramas about, our economy is not doing well. Look how well hair and beauty is doing incredibly well. It's growing.
Palesa, we look forward to talking to you in the future when you do expand your empire. Yeah. What are you calling it? What is your name for?
Balisa's Beauty Studio.
So it's going to be lots of Balisa's Beauty Studio around the country. Yes. Thanks for coming in to talk to us today. And Gigi, as always.
Thank you.
Thanks for opening our eyes.
Thanks a lot.
I'm Alec Hogg from BizNews.com.